$20 million penthouses, $50 million mansions. And from there, it only gets crazier. These are the most expensive houses of soccer players. Now, you can't bring up spending millions without mentioning Neymar, because in 2020, he made $95 million, so it's only right. He blew $10 million on a house that you can literally land a helicopter on. I also believed that my mother's basement was the best place to be. This guy actually resides on a film set. They did, in fact, film The Expendables in his home. However, it shouldn't come as a surprise if you reside in Rio's Beverly Hills. In fact, Neymar's mansion is so close to a hotel that it has 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, an underground wine cellar with more than 3,000 bottles, and a gym big enough for his entire PSG squad. It is located in the gated neighborhood of Portobello. However, things start to become chaotic outside. Dude not only has a tennis court, but a beach volleyball court too. And would it really be a celebrity's home without a ridiculous pool? Come on now, of course he's got that. It's Neymar. But see, he's special. Neymar's the only pro athlete that can land a helicopter and dock an $8 million yacht in his backyard. Dude's living like a king. And with a home like this, I didn't think you could top it. But then I found out about Lionel Messi. He not only bought the rarest mansion in Barcelona, he literally bought his entire neighborhood. Yeah, see, in 2020, Messi made more money than LeBron, Stephen Curry, and Tiger Woods, so of course he's been blowing a bag. And not only does he buy more cars than I buy shoes, dude literally bought a $9 million mansion that's so exclusive, the president banned planes from flying over it, just so Messi doesn't have to hear them. We flew in and got the exclusive look. Are you seeing this? I require a getaway. Let me quickly text my friend Messi to see how that goes. Oh, damn. Anyway, everything a sports person could possibly need is in this guy's apartment. Messi's personal gym is located on a whole floor within. I'm referring to treadmills, benches, dumbbells, and an entire wall dedicated to Muhammad Ali. It is understandable why Messi has won the Ballon d'Or 6 times. Every morning when he awakens, he is reminded of his potential to become a legend. But how many soccer players can genuinely claim to have a basketball-only area in their home? Yes, Messi is capable of hosting full-court matches in his residence. Look at that jump shot, please. Man, may well shock us all and emerge as the 3rd Splash brother. You can't be sure. However, that's where things start to go crazy on the outside. See, Messi could spend hours in his pool with a ridiculous view of the mountains and the Balearic Sea, while he's not practicing to be the best in the world. He has a large soccer field in his backyard, which explains why he practices here every single day, even if his dog gets in the way, since the guy takes his sport that seriously. Despite his devotion to his profession, Messi made sure that his family could enjoy themselves here as well. He built a private playground for his children, where he frequently publishes photos of his family having fun together. But don't be fooled by his brilliant white smile. Messi may appear to be a relaxed and laid-back person, but one day when his neighbors irritated him... Back in 2013, Messi's neighbors rented their house to a bunch of college kids. And well, in a paradise like this, you already know things can get crazy. Yeah, and one night, things went way too far. See? Messi was laying down after a heartbreaking loss, so all he wanted to do was get some rest. But all he could focus on was the pool party next door. Music blasting, cars drag racing, kids jumping off the roof like Project X. Eventually, enough was enough, man. So Messi opened up his phone, checked his bank account, and he saw $600 million, and he realized he's worth way too much to deal with all that. Now he let them have their fun for one final night. But the next morning, he bought every single one of his neighbors' houses. Yeah, dude really spent over $20 million just for peace and quiet. 20 million, man. Things can't get crazier than that, right? Well, the entire neighborhood around Messi is more expensive than David Beckham's mansions. You see, David earned more than $800 million throughout the course of his career. You probably already know that he has a flexing addiction. And for that reason, he obtained the most expensive penthouse ever purchased by an athlete. Damn, man's putting my GTA character to shame. Jesus Christ. Now I know what you're thinking. How can I get an apartment like that? Well, it's easy, man. All you gotta do is become one of the greatest soccer players in history and throw $28 million his way. Then you can live like David Beckham. Maybe. Well, to be honest, there's no way I'd give this up if I were him, so you might be out of luck. But anyways, his Miami crib is at the top of a 700-foot tall skyscraper, where you have an insane view of the Miami skyline and Biscayne Bay. His 10,000 square foot apartment came with 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, and as a thank you for the $28 million spent on this place, it came fully furnished. The 4 pools, however, are the nicest features of living in this masterpiece. The 3 were outside under the palm trees, with one on the 61st story inside. But as you can see, Dave is lucky. He even has a 2-floor personal gym, a theater, and a helipad with a helicopter on the roof, just in case any of you weirdos try to break in. He could then fly to his even crazier home, a $33 million mega palace after that. Simply observe this. Man, this dude's got more houses than I got matches on Tinder. Must be nice. Oh, you weren't supposed to see that. But for real, I can't even hate on this man. Right after he signed to the Galaxy on a $250 million contract, he celebrated and copped this Los Angeles mansion. 6 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, an elevator, library. Dude's even got a recording studio, if he ever wants to become the next Lil Pump. But, low-key, David, let me know that he'll drop you an early link to his mixtape if you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, what are you even doing? Click it right now. Click it. But anyways, with palm trees surrounding the entire property, gives David plenty of privacy. But the most absurd aspect is that all of this pales in comparison to Cristiano Ronaldo. But Ronaldo responded, "Hold my beard, I'ma do something none of y'all can do." Sure, some sportsmen won houses, Ferraris, and diamond Rolexes. The guy is essentially the only professional athlete with a home on a private island. He spent an additional $50 million to reside on his own island, on top of the more than $50 million he spent on houses. I don't even know if I'll be able to pay the rent this month, but this guy is out here doing it, bro. I really should have attended college. However, as soon as he made money off of this, he had to confirm to his 284 million Instagram followers that the island was actually his. However, I understand what you're thinking. Where's the guy living on it? Since it's his own island, you already know he did something wild with it or simply took it. To be completely honest, I have no idea how the laws operate there. Ronaldo spends time at his villa, which has a rooftop pool and a beautiful view of the Atlantic Ocean, however. So, if he wants to get away from his estates in Italy and Portugal, it's a great little retreat. However, although spending $50 million on real estate may seem like a lot, what he accomplished for his family is far more valuable than that. And it all started when he was growing up in Portugal, but that's when it happened. When Ronaldo was only 15 years old, he was rushed to the hospital, and doctors came to realize his heart was beating out of control. So, they had to make a split-second decision. If they didn't perform surgery immediately, not only would Ronaldo's career be over, so would his life, and his family might never make it out. So, the doctors went to work. The surgery was a success, and even though Ronaldo's condition was something he never could have predicted, after a few weeks, he recovered back to 100%. But one thing was still on his mind, the promise he guaranteed his family. He would make it, and he wasn't gonna disappoint. He knew that his life could have ended at any second, so the fact that he could wake up and still play the sport he loved, he knew there was no way it could be a coincidence. And from that point on, he sacrificed everything. He trained day and night for his family. And as the years went on, eventually Ronaldo did it. He turned himself into one of soccer's most legendary players. But most importantly, he gets to share that success with the family who got him here. Yeah, we see Ronaldo in his $10 million mansions, pulling up in his Bugattis, but he made sure that his mom, sisters, and brother all were taken care of first and got a roof above their heads before his own. And that's worth more than any house any athlete could ever buy.